Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Crimson and in this video we are going to be continuing and finishing our look through of the Halo, the Art of Building Worlds art book. We are almost done. This is actually a lot less left than I thought there was. So this video may be a little bit shorter compared to both my usual uploads and the other uploads in this series. However, before we get into this book, we are going to quickly take a look at something in the Halo Encyclopedia. I meant to include this in part 3, however it completely slipped my mind. So we are going to go ahead and have a look at that now. So let's swap over to that book. Okay, so we are back at the Halo Encyclopedia. This should not be that long. I just feel as it's important, seeing as everything else in this series has been a very in-depth look at all of the Halo things. So I'm using my finger as a bookmark, so let's get right to it. And the thing that we are going to be covering is the Huragok, otherwise known as the Engineers. So as usual, I am going to go ahead and read what it says, and then any lore that is not included I will provide because I am a loser. So let's start. So the Huragok are essentially self-aware thinking machines. To cultures without the medical technology to determine otherwise, the Huragok appear to be biological life forms. Physical characteristics. The Huragok are approximately the size of an average human male, though their mode of locomotion is vastly different. Huragok float above the ground, lifted by lighter than air gases stored in bladders on their backs. Huragok normally float around feet above the ground, although in special situations they are able to rise much higher for short periods of time. Although they possess no true tissue or organs, the nanochemical surrogates closely mimic the Huragok's biologic analogs. Role in the Covenant. The prophets store and document the archived religious texts and technology of the Forerunners, but it is the Huragoks who perform the actual physical labor of excavating, transporting, and gathering data on Forerunner artifacts. The Huragok are nevertheless fiercely protective of Forerunner excavations, as well as architecture or anything really the Forerunners have left behind, and they will emit a high-pitched warbling cry if artifacts are endangered in some way. So here it just quickly says the Huragoks have no culture. And yeah, so the naming conventions, I'm not going to read what it says here just because I know this from reading the books. So the way the Huragok name their young is based on their buoyancy. So there are many Huragok characters that we meet in the books. In the game, we meet the Huragok Virgil in Halo ODST, but the names of the Huragok are stuff like lighter than some, or tends to drift, or perfect balance. Stuff like that. So it depends on their buoyancy, and it's just interesting that their buoyancy is not always perfect. Next thing of a bit of lore. So the Huragok are not willing members of the Covenant. The Huragok are a completely passive species. They do not harm anyone, they do not hurt anyone. All they do is exist to fix things, whether that is technology such as damages to ships or weapons or armor, or biological. So they are also good at tending to the wounded. They are also able to upgrade and enhance a lot of equipment. In the Kilo 5 trilogy, spoiler alert by the way, the characters in that book come across a Huragok, and that was being transported by Sanjiro Hane and essentially rescue him. And he goes around the ship essentially not only repairing any defects, but upgrading stuff, making things more efficient. There's one scene where, he's trying to upgrade one of the ODST's helmets, and the ODST is like, no, leave my helmet alone. And the Huragok is just looking at him like, I'm just trying to help you, man. And secondly, the Huragok are not willing members of the Covenant. They do not believe in the Great Journey or anything like that. They are essentially slaves. If you have played Halo ODST, you've seen that the brutes and also the elites and strap bombs to them so that they do not fall into enemy hands, because not only do they not like the Covenant, but if they were to fall into human hands, they wouldn't really care. They would just start doing what they did for the Covenant to the humans. They would just start helping them and upgrading them. There's actually a really funny scene, again, in the Kilo 5 trilogy. That's about the 4th time I've mentioned it in this series, where some Sangheli shipmasters on Sanghelios are essentially clueless about how to actually operate their own ships, because they were so used to, when they were in the Covenant, having dozens, if not hundreds, of Huragok on board at all times to take care of all of the maintenance. So all of the elites are completely clueless on ship maintenance, which is hilarious, seeing as how they call themselves shipmasters. And lastly, the Huragok are not a naturally occurring species. They were created by the Forerunners and are essentially sentient data conduits and supercomputers. So yeah, I just thought, since we went into detail about all of the other races and species in the Covenant, that we absolutely had to include the Huragok here. And lastly, before we move back to the main book, we are going to discuss the final species of the Covenant, and possibly the least popular of them, the Yanmei, or the drones. So, incorporation into the Covenant. When the Covenant was newly formed and first expanding its search to Forerunner artifacts, they encountered a race of spacefaring insects. The initial contact resulted in a massive loss of life on both sides. Surprisingly, the Covenant suffered far more than the Yanmei during this sword conflict. Once the prophets discovered the reliable method to communicate with the Yanmei, hostilities ceased and incorporate them into the hegemony. Not surprisingly, the Yanmei fared worse than the Covenant at these proceedings. They are now required by treaty to supply the Covenant with soldiers and mechanics. The Yanmei are insects, so they have lots of young and so Yanmei culture. Culturally speaking, the Yanmei are simply a client race of the Covenant. Like the Ungoi, they do not adhere to the Covenant's religious principles and obey their own orders unquestioningly, but they have no particular passion for the Covenant society norms. They follow what they see as normal and linear power structure. with the queens ruling them from high. So they are a matriarchal society, much like most insects. Communication difficulties with other covenant species mean that the Yanmei mainly remain among their own people. Except in combat, the Yanmei are very single-minded, and while they excel at simple tasks, their lack of individual initiative relegates them to the lower ranks of the Covenant military structure. They're also viciously territorial over tasks that they see as their own. So this is some pictures of the Yanmei here. This is probably the best one here. So two standing to the side and the front view. Now, a couple of things, just for my 2 cents, like I do with all the species. The Yanmei are called drones in Halo. However, in Halo 2, if you watch the Halo 2 dev commentary, they were initially called buggers, because, they look like bugs. However, they changed this because Bungie is based in America, and they did not know what bugger means in other cultures. So, for example, where I live and am from, bugger means something completely different. So they decided to change the name to drones. However, I think in Halo Reach, they sometimes refer to them as buggers, but it's just a funny coincidence. Also, in Halo 2 and 3, they are fairly a pushover. However, in Halo ODST, the ranks of the Yanmei are so much better. So you have your standard infantry unit, which are these guys, no shields, plasma pistol, very easy to take down. Then you have other units. You have gold units with shields. You have red units with stronger shields and plasma rifles. You have guys with needlers. You have guys dual wielding plasma rifles. Most of them have shields too, so it makes them a kind of foe that you laugh at and quickly kill them all, into a foe that you really need to watch out for. And especially since they're so agile, flying around, it's very, very easy to miss them. So yeah, that is the last of the Covenant species. So let's go back to the art of building worlds. So this is where we left off last time. Let's just keep on moving. Next up, we have a bit about the pelican. So it says, I'm just moving a little bit closer so I can see. The pelican is the UNSC's workhorse of the sky, ferrying troops, supplies, and vehicles across the series' many battlefields. The dropship 77 heavy troop carrier has undergone several tweaks throughout the series, but it remains an integral part of the UNSC's aerial force. The Pelican also continues Halo's trend of naming its vehicles after animals, and it displays the traits of its namesake. For the Pelican, it shares the large storage capacity of the large bird. The UNSC dropship can transport warthogs and scorpions, as well as leagues of troops, and it can also carry mongoose or mongoose. Fun fact. So yeah, the Pelican has appeared in every Halo game, all with different iterations, and I'm pretty sure the lore behind that is that all of the different Pelicans throughout the series are different models of pelicans. So it's not like, how a lot of games have vastly different looking enemies and vehicles as the graphics improve. It's that like each type of pelican is its own kind of class of pelican, for want of a better term. So we see here some sketch art for the pelican. The one up top here looks a lot more streamlined, a lot more sleek. Looks almost like a fighter jet rather than a troop transport. Sorry, let me zoom in a little bit just so you guys can see. Then down here we have some more, I'm assuming these were prototype Pelicans. They look a lot more boxy compared to the final product. And genuinely, I think the Pelican is probably the best dropship, troop carrier, whatever term you would like to use, in science fiction, both in terms of its purpose and in terms of its appearance. It just looks so cool. And also, Halo 4 is the first time we can officially pilot a Pelican in the series. There is a glitch, or not a glitch, an Easter egg in Halo Reach in New Alexandria, where you can transform your Falcon into a Pelican. But that's an Easter egg. That's not really meant to be like a main gameplay mechanic. Halo 4 is the first game where the Pelican is actually part of the mission that you drive, and it's so cool after so many years to finally pilot it, even if it is just for a very short period of time. Here we have a picture from Halo Reach. This is, I believe this is art of the, it's either a screenshot of the cutscene or art of the cutscene at the beginning of the mission, Tip of the Spear, where the UNSC forces, both ground and air, are driving straight at the Covenant forces, both ground and air, and they end up getting in this massive battle. And what's cool about the Tip of the Spear is if you actually go over to the edge of the cliffs near or in the beginning areas, you can look down and you can see the battle being waged, and it is just pure pandemonium. Everyone's getting destroyed. There's wraiths, there's scorpions, there's falcons fighting banshees, there's banshees bombing warthogs, there's warthogs obliterating ghosts, and yeah, it's just chaos. Okay, so here is some artwork from Halo Wars 1, showcasing a UNSC Vulture firing a barrage of missiles against a Covenant Scarab. Now, this is essentially what endgame matches of Halo Wars look like. The Scarab is the Covenant's strongest unit, and the Vulture is the UNSC's strongest unit. The Vulture is a absolute huge aircraft. It's almost like a flying fortress rather than an aircraft. And it is insanely powerful. If you have played Halo Wars and have played the multiplayer, you know how these are essentially a game ender. Speaking of more Halo Wars stuff, here is a picture of the Sparrowhawk. This is an exclusive unit in Halo Wars 1 that you only get if you choose Anders as your commander. The way Halo Wars multiplayer works is there's 3 UNSC commanders and there's 3 Covenant commanders. Each of the UNSC commanders gets an exclusive unit. So the 3 exclusive units are the Sparrowhawk, the Grizzly Tank, which is this here, and the ODSTs. The Grizzly Tank is essentially a Scorpion on steroids. It is so powerful, and you might be thinking to yourself that it's like, hey, that's kind of not really balanced. You know, one commander gets a top-of-the-line aircraft, the other gets a top-of-the-line tank, and the other gets, what, ODSTs, like Marines and fancy helmets? No, 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 no. The ODSTs are one of the most powerful units in the game, based on they all have rocket launchers. They are extremely cheap to buy, and they can be deployed anywhere on the map at any time in essentially any amount. So you are fully able to destroy a scarab with ODSTs. All you have to do is just keep dropping them around them, and just as soon as they land, spam the rocket, which the rocket in itself is an upgrade to the grenade. Here's some more Halo Wars stuff here. I can't remember what this unit is called, but it's a vehicle, and it's essentially like a little mobile base for the UNSC, and it just serves as like a barracks, so you can make this, move it to an area maybe closer to the enemy's base, and then make things like flamethrower troops or Marines. I believe this is actually a flamethrower trooper there. Let me zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see. But yeah, I really like Halo Wars fan. I'm not the biggest RTS fan. I mean, they're good. Total War Shogun 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. However, I'm just not a fan of the games or the genre. No real reason, just not for me. But Halo Wars 2, and Total War Shogun 2 are absolute kino, in my opinion. Okay, next up is the Pillar of Autumn. So we have a lot to read here, so I'm just going to move this closer to myself. So it's the ship with honor of transporting humans to the very first contact with Halo Installation 04. It's arguably one of the most significant members of the UNSC fleet. The Pillar of Autumn, helmed by Captain Keyes, has played an instrumental part in this Halo series, from hosting the very first moments of Halo Combat Evolved to making a weighty cameo at the Halo Reach's climax. At the time I drew the sketches for the Pillar of Autumn, I followed design cues from Chief's assault rifle and took inspiration from images. An animation film called Mobile Suit Gundam, which is incredible, by the way. If you have not, I have not watched Mobile Suit Gundam, but I have read the mangas, and they are amazing. Explained Lorianne McLean. The Autumn was essentially a big gun with engines that will carry the crew to Halo, complete with centrifuge for the crew's quarters housed beneath angled ablative armor. Over the years, the Pillar of Autumn has become an icon in itself. Indeed, it's a fascinating study of how a design of Halo has evolved, having bookmarked Bungie's tenure in the series and kickstarting the more recent remake. So Pillar of Autumn is one of the most well-known ships in Halo. It's where the whole series began. Our first mission in the first game, CE, takes place on the Pillar of Autumn. This is where we wake up. This is Chief's cryopod right here. And here are some concept arts for the Pillar of Autumn. But personally, I think the final product is perfect. Okay, next up is I think this is a section about the Chief, but I could be wrong. File point 001, the Stoic Hero. This one character that looms largest over the Halo universe, the Master Chief. A soldier born from the Spartan 2 program, John 117 is the ultimate savior of the universe. But one of gaming's greatest icons came from humble beginnings. For the longest time, we referred to Master Chief as the Cyborg, which was just one type of infantry unit in the game, explains artist Rob McLeese. But that's back when Halo was an RTS. That's a fun fact for you guys. Did you guys know that Halo initially was an RTS? And then initially it was meant to be a game for the Mac? Yeah, that's crazy, right? Imagine playing games on a Mac, that's mental. Later on, it seemed like a better idea to make it one guy, but other characters would need to refer to him by name, or more appropriately by rank. I particularly liked Chief because my friends and I used to call each other Chief back in the day, and it didn't particularly sound like a modern military designation. It felt more colloquial. Indeed, the Master Chief's appeal can be attributed to his broad and malleable personality, wherein the player's command chief never speaks, placing him in long line of mute video game heroes populated by the likes of Half-Life's Gordon Freeman. When the chief does open his mouth, he reveals a character that's deliberate, heroic, and stoic. One of the first directions I gave to Steve Downes is the voice actor who plays Master Chief, when he was doing the voice of Master Chief, was that he is like the man with no name, a man of few words, recalls Halo's audio master Marty O'Donnell. He would say 1 to 3 words and he's done. Think Clint Eastwood. The Master Chief's appeal is much like that of the man with no name, but his lineage goes back further than that. He's a descendant of the classic Homeric hero, a nomadic sufferer who travels the future reaches of the galaxy in his quest, not forgetting that he totally kicks ass. That is probably one of the best descriptions of Master Chief that I have ever read, because it is 100% true, and it's amazing. So in this artwork here, we have Chief in his Mark V armor. This is his Combat Evolved armor, being essentially either suited up or having the armor removed after a mission by a team of technicians. Sorry, Jesus, I can't believe. Can you guys tell I'm sleep deprived? Anyway, it's crazy to see just how tall Chief is compared to these, standard humans. Like, he just absolutely towers over them. Because when you play Halo, it's kind of hard to remember just how tall Chief is compared to, like, your average human. It's like, the Master Chief goes up to a grunt, and the grunt is like this puny little creature compared to the Chief. But then you look at the Ungoi lore, and the Ungoi are like slightly taller than the average human male, which is crazy. But yeah, anyway, that's enough going on about Chief for now. I'm sure there's more. File point 002, A Hero's Rise. Art director Marcus Lato explains the Master Chief needed to look tough and impressive, like a tank, in order to be believable as a singular character capable of saving humanity. Shi K. Wang, one of the artists who worked on Halo series since its inception, original design was that of a little too thin, but carried much more tech that made its way into Halo Combat Evolved's suit. The split visor was inspired by BMX helmets, which are a great reference to speed and agility. Getting it right took some time. I built and rebuilt Chief 9 times during the first game. So yeah, that's crazy. This is just more about the designing of Chief rather than lore and stuff. So here we have a concept art of Chief. His armor, or his helmet here, kind of looks like a mixture between the Mark VI and the Recon helmet. Just the visor reminds me of the Recon helmet. And then we have some sketches here of Chief in his Mark V armor from CE. We have in the back, the front, the side. This image here is incredible. And we have some more stuff here. This is Chief as he turns out in CE. This is Chief as he appeared in the Macworld trailer. Like I said earlier, Halo was supposed to be a Mac game, and at that point, this is what the Chief looks like. And I believe at the time of recording this, this armor set is unlockable in Halo the Master Chief Collection. Here's some more concept art. We have a full body with a bit more not color, but a bit more shading towards the Chief. This one looks like the most finished out of the bunch. Okay, let's continue. File point 003, Halo 2. At the outset of Halo 2, the Master Chief is handed over the new Mjolnir Mark 6 armor, a neat excuse for both the new powers and the subtle makeover he received for the sequel. Rob McLee's details thinking about the redesign. We wanted to preserve his iconic look, maybe toned down a little. The gold faceplate, the two-pronged visor, and the proportions of the armor that was either soft or hard green. It's a look that stuck. The Mjolnir Mark 6 armor reappeared in Halo 3, and although the increased processing power of the Xbox 360 allows for more details and more design fundamentals remain the same. Here in the cover of Edge magazine by artist Eddie Smith, the Master Chief surveys an Earth under attack as troops stream out of a pelican. So yeah, that is what is happening here. So Chief is looking on seemingly above orbit somewhere, so I'm assuming he's hanging out of a pelican here, watching as Marines skydive out of a pelican. How they are going to enter atmosphere like that without, dying is beyond me, but, it looks cool, so that's all that matters. Also, they just decided to throw a random warthog out. Yeah. Goes hard is all I can say. By the way, I just want to say quickly, if you guys hear any little scratching sounds or lots of running, my cat currently has the zoomies, so she is going absolutely mental running up and down the stairs. So if you hear anything, that is what that is. I will try to edit it out in post the best I can, but some may slip through the cracks. I'm not really going to go into this because this is more about multiplayer Spartans. But there is some great artwork here of the different Spartans with different weapons. I actually really prefer the sketch style, like the rough sketch style of concept art compared to fully rendered different versions. Maybe that's just me, but I think this stuff is way cooler. Here's a picture of Chief from Halo 2. As you can see, he is dual wielding the SMGs, which is super, super cool, with a rocket launcher on his back. So that is an excellent image. This would actually make a really cool phone wallpaper, I think. Okay, next up, file point 005, Halo 3. Halo 3's tagline said it all. Microsoft and Bungie invited players to finish the fight, describing in the Master Chief's own sparse vernacular the scale of what was at hand. This was the curtain closing on the chapter of one of the decade's most important gaming series. Halo 3 was fittingly epic in scope, and the muted palette of this concept art gives a great sense of the melancholic note being struck. So yeah, as you guys know, Halo 3 was meant to be the end of Master Chief's story when Bungie made it. There was no plans for Halo 4 to continue his story. And there's lots of mixed opinions about that. I'm not going to really get into it because a lot of people get very heated about it. But yeah, So, like it said here, here's a picture of Chief in his Mark 6 armor as seen in Halo 3 with his battle rifle. And all of these pictures here, so like we have Chief walking through some ruins with his battle rifle, Chief firing what looks like to be a detached turret, Chief just standing looking around with a, I think that's a Spartan laser on his back, and a battle rifle, and Chief in the thick of things here. There's some fire blazing behind him, and with either a assault rifle or battle rifle. And yeah, all of these pictures are very, very bleak compared to the others. Not that much color, and what is there is very washed out, which I feel is on purpose. But yeah. Apologies everyone, I just got jump scared by my 1-year-old cat. So we will continue, and I'm just going to pretend that never happened, and I hope you guys do too. So here's another picture. So this is what looks like to be in the mission Cortana. It says here the relationship between Cortana and the Master Chief is the human heart of the series. Ironic given that it's a relationship between an artificial intelligence and a heavily augmented super soldier, which is very, very true. So we have Cortana on some kind of display mount pedestal thing, and Chief with his shotgun. In all of the Halo games, I think Halo 3 Cortana is the best looking Cortana. Just in terms of her character, like she doesn't look too weird. Like I think in Halo CE she looks just a bit strange, whereas she actually looks, you know, like despite being all digital, you know, she looks like a woman in Halo 3, and especially since she's essentially Catherine Halsey, Cortana is meant to look identical to Catherine Halsey, which is just a really, really cool bit of lore. Here we have a picture of the Chief with an energy sword holding it up. Really gives contrast to just how big the energy swords are. We don't really get that in the games, like in terms of the scale of them, but they are huge. Like there's a reason why you can't give enemy, or you can't give Marines or ODSTs the sword in these games. It's because a Spartan can barely handle it, let alone a normal human. Here's a picture from, I'm assuming this is multiplayer, Capture the Flag. I'm guessing this is meant to be the Master Chief, but it wouldn't be the Master Chief since it's multiplayer running with Capture the Flag. I know I had said previously that Invasion is the best game type in all of Halo. However, Capture the Flag is a close second. It's really good. I am a big fan of objective game types in Halo. Slayer and, you know, Big Team Battle are great and everything, but to me, an objective is great. What is your guys' favorite game mode in all of the Halo series? I'm interested to find that because so many people have so many different answers. So here we have, this is the intro to Halo 3. So at the end of Halo 2, Chief became a stowaway on the Covenant Dreadnought, the Forerunner ship, which is entering Earth's atmosphere, and Chief jumped out using part of the hull that he broke out of as a shield. File point 006, a hero for all the ages. The Master Chief makes a fiery descent from the Forerunner Dreadnought into a piece of artwork excised from Halo 3. Halo's hero ended his journey frozen in stasis with Cortana overseeing him. his work seemingly done as he left behind a world freed from the threat of the flood. Subsequently, tales have retraced his steps and expanded the backstory, though there's hope that he'll awake from his slumber in the future. After all, folks always need heroes. I wonder, because I've actually noticed something in this book. This book is entirely the Bungie era games along with Halo Wars 1. So I'm wondering, was this book made before Halo 4 came out? Or did they just decide to only feature the Bungie era games and Halo Wars? Both of which are interesting because there have been concept arts that look like models that ended up coming out in Halo 4, but there has not been anything directly in Halo 4, which is interesting. Chapter 007, Homeworlds. So we see a planet here, we have a waterfall, nice sunrise. I'm not sure what this is. Maybe it's power cables, maybe it's a railway, like a monorail. We have some windmills down here, and yeah. I'm assuming this is going to be all about the different worlds and cities. So, File Point 001, Homeworlds. Halo's not just about the alien vistas and mysterious architecture. Sometimes it's about what you're fighting for. The homeworlds that are often every bit as breathtaking as the exotic corners of the galaxy where the battles take you. From the rustic plains of Reach to the swamps and marshes of Harvest, as well as the futuristic terrestrial locations in Halo 3 ODST, New Mombasa, and Halo 3's DeSavo Highway. The human habitats of the 26th century are just as lovingly crafted as any other aspect of the Halo universe, which makes it all the more devastating when they're attacked, and the destruction of Reach brings with it a beauty of its own. The glassed planet as alluring as the peacetime one once was tranquil. Halo's homeworlds offer a counterpoint to the more far-flung action that is its stock in trade. And they also provide that this is a universe that takes in many different sci-fi tropes and makes them comfortably its own. So I'm not sure what city this is meant to be, or if it's meant to be any specific city. This could just be a standard city that is under a Covenant attack. And as you can see, there's a Covenant cruiser in the corner here. It's kind of a bit hard to see. I'll try and move. Hold on. There we go. There's the Covenant cruiser there. And there's also a where is it? There's a Covenant cruiser there, and there's 2 Covenant cruisers here. So they are moving in for the kill. Let us continue. Here is the picture that we see at the end of Halo Reach. Missing, of course, Noble Six's destroyed helmet. So File Point 003, Reach. Remember Reach, stated the marketing campaign. Remember where it all began. Were its achingly beautiful vistas, the planet Reach would prove hard to forget. The game's aim was to bring the war home, to make it more emotional and more personal. Reach itself plays a large part in that strategy, and it often looks like an idyllic vision of Earth itself, a view backed up by one of the artists who helped bring it to life. Planet Reach had to look healthy, habitable, and thus Earth-like, but not look as if it could be mistaken for Earth, says Mark Goldsworthy. And it's the occasional extraterrestrial touches that give Reach its impact. The juxtaposition of the countryside retreat that looks like it's been plucked from Kansas with alien skyboxes proves quite stirring. Reach was also the epicenter of the war, and the game told the story of one of the UNSC's darkest days. It's no wonder that the melancholy that's always bubbled under the series. Think of that mountain or that mournful music, for example, rose to the surface. Reach's landscape played a significant part in the game's sad symphony. Very, very true. Halo Reach is a very melancholic game, especially it starts off very gung-ho, like, yeah, we're gonna kick the Covenant off our rock, and then it just descends into, yeah, no, we're hopeless. And the design of Reach, from the outskirts to the little villages to the sprawling metropolises, really, really good. I think Reach probably has my favorite level design or variety of levels in any Halo game. But yeah. Halo wildlife. This is interesting. I actually know very little about this. The Covenant are the only exotic life to grace Halo's universe. At several points throughout the series, the indigenous life for the far-flung locals makes a noticeable appearance. Reach has shown us the most diverse fauna, with the debut of the Moa, an ostrich-like creature based on a species now extinct on Earth, which, let's be honest, everyone who played Reach killed every Moa that they put their eyes on, myself included. And the towering Guta, a rancor-like creature that tears through both human and Covenant forces. Many more species never quite made the cut, from the blind wolves omitted in Halo Combat Evolved to some of the examples imagined here. The blind wolves actually make an appearance in one of the books, but for the life of me, I cannot remember which book it is. I apologize for that. But yeah, we just have some, not going to spend too much time on this, but these are just some of the animals that we see. And it would have been cool. The Halo Macworld trailer did have a lot of animals roaming around Installation 04. But yeah, I think it would have been cool. But, you know, it would have been kind of like the last thing to do with the game. It's like after everything else is done, it's like, yeah, okay, fine, go add some, weird animals. Anyway, here we go with some architecture from Reach. So, here we have some architecture and buildings and environments from the very first mission of Halo Reach, Winter Contingency. This kind of takes place in a rural mountain town is not the right word, but a rural mountain settlement where people, live very far away from each other, but still in the same area. And the architecture is so cool. Fun fact, did you guys know that the language spoken on Reach in Halo is Hungarian? I did not know that until a couple of years ago, and I just found that interesting. And I found it funny, like, imagine being Hungarian, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to go and play this game about aliens, and you get there, and the quote-unquote futuristic humans living on another planet are just, casually speaking your language. I think that would be funny, like, if I was playing a game, and same situation, and the far future humans spoke Gaelic. That would be really, really funny. So here we have Club Aurora from New Alexandria. The inside of it, loads and loads of Easter eggs in this one area, but it is so cool. Doing battle with, brutes and hunters and everything in a nightclub that's blaring music. So cool. Reach City. Every time I see Reach City in this, it makes me think of the Halo TV show. And then I want to forget that because the Halo TV show, we do not speak about the Halo TV show on this channel. New Alexandria is a city that would have done Frank Lloyd Wright proud with its bold geometry and sweeping lines. Fortunately, it bears the brunt of the attacks and the fall of Reach, a Covenant offensive leaving it smoldering. 2 levels of Halo Reach use New Alexandria as their setting. The first, Exodus, which takes the player through the city at ground level, and most spectacularly, New Alexandria, which shows Noble Six using a falcon to pick his way through the jutting buildings and skyscrapers with the city's destruction. Both levels are really good. It is really cool to see in Exodus, like seeing the Marines trying to evacuate all the civilians, but New Alexandria is so good. I think New Alexandria might be in the top 3 Halo levels of all time. It is so much fun, especially on Legendary. Maybe that's just me. I always play, whenever a new Halo game comes out, I always play it on Legendary first, and I had never had so much fun as when I played New Alexandria on Legendary. It was incredible. Here we go with some more architecture. This looks like it is during Exodus. And here is the same picture that we saw just a few pages back, but this is the mountain after the Covenant have all but glassed the entire planet. So Final Point 006 Reach. You want to see troops stage a final stand on the scorched ground of planet Reach. The act is futile. The Covenant forces would go on to successfully glass the planet, bombarding it with plasma weaponry from orbit and bringing about a nuclear winter, rendering Reach uninhabitable. The inevitability of this fate is what lends Halo Reach an atmosphere of fatalistic air. With its heroes becoming martyrs, a moody, atmospheric art direction backs this up and makes this one of Halo's more emotional storylines. Absolutely. Reach and ODST definitely have some of the most emotional storylines, but I think the best storyline in a Halo game, in my opinion, is Halo 2, specifically. Okay, so here's ODST. Here we have Veronica Dare and the Rookie in the data hive. It says Halo 3 ODST took a singular turn or a singular view on its location, whereas other games had filtered between the stars. This expansion, taking place during the events of Halo 2, explored one city and one city alone, the African city of New Mombasa. Abandoned boulevards and vast courtyards marked a change of tone for Halo, but they were delivered with the same strength of vision that has always served the series. The focus on one locale helps bring New Mombasa to life, and the sprawling open-world space that acts as Halo 3 ODST's hub is a tangible and exciting space to be. With the Master Chief absent for Halo 3 ODST, it's up to the Shock Troopers to step up and fill the void. They do it admirably, embarking on a mission that takes them, as we can see in the concept art, meet the city as they come face to face with a new mysterious member of the Covenant. Halo 3 ODST is one of my favorite Halo games. There is one gripe I have with it though, as it takes place between Halo 2 and Halo 3, specifically after the Prophet of Regret's ship jumps into slipspace while in orbit. I really wish that elites were enemies as well as brutes, because at this time the animosity between the two races were absolutely at a boiling point, but the schism had not yet happened, so it would have been really cool to fight both elites and brutes. I know there's loads of mods that have added that now that MCC is on PC, but yeah, that's just my 2 cents. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just what I think. File .008 Urban Warfare. Halo 3 ODST's story structure, which saw the player recount the experiences of troopers throughout the flashbacks, meant that the city of New Mombasa was explored from various angles. Stumbling upon the wreckage of a Covenant Wraith could trigger the recollection of the battle that brought it down, as the player flitted between the various members of the ODST outfit. Those are Buck, Dutch, Mickey, and Romeo, as well as the Rookie and Dare, but we don't actually get to play as Dare. It's a narrative approach that allowed for more of a broad take on the story. It enabled a little visual variety too, with much more of the exploration taking place at night. The flashbacks saw the city throughout the preceding day as the Covenant onslaught began. What I do really like about Halo ODST, and whether you like ODST or not, is that its approach to its storytelling and how it achieves that is a really, really cool idea. I personally think it worked out really well. You may not think so, but I just think that it's so cool that they're willing to do something different. And nowadays, it's a AAA game studio would never do something so out of the box like that. So here is a picture at night of the Rookie coming across a destroyed Wraith. Here is a scene of some battle going on. So there's lots to look at here. So we'll start on the left and move away over. So here we have some Marines in a kind of little dugout and using some rubble as cover. This man has a sniper rifle. There are 2 Marines here with a destroyed Warthog. There is a Warthog here with a Marine on the gunner, a Marine driving who is passing a Spartan laser to an ODST. As for the Covenant, we see a Covenant squad consisting of a singular brute and many grunts. We have a Wraith firing that looks like it's about to blow these people here apart. We have a Covenant sniper tower in the back, which I can only assume has a few jackals. There's some grunts behind the Wraith and an incoming Phantom. This was actually my PC wallpaper for about a year or so. Okay, here, file .010. Did we miss one? I thought the last one was 8, maybe. I'm just really tired. Crow's Nest. So this is the second mission of Halo 3. This is like a kind of bunker area that the UNSC have made into an impromptu command center. Tucked away in the wilds of Kenya is Crow's Nest, a UNSC base that at the heart of the human defense against the Covenant's assault. Picking Africa as a backdrop for Halo's terrestrial missions allowed the art team to retain the tradition, retain the trademark vibrant color of the series, which is true. And placing it in the shadow of Mount Kilimanjaro meant that Halo 3's early missions were just as inspiring as those set on the stage and beautiful ring worlds. The strange and beautiful ring worlds. I need to get some sleep, man. Oh my god. Okay, so here we have 2 Marines. This one looks a lot very kitted up, kind of standard Halo 3 Marine concept art. This guy, we can't really tell much about him just because he has his back turned. Here we see the chief looking at a pelican. I'm assuming this pelican is leaving the crow's nest based on its trajectory. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe it's backing up into the crow's nest landing zone, but I think it's either coming and going from crow's nest. Here we go. This is a mission. Man, this is so much fun. Tsavo Highway. Tsavo Highway shows Halo at its most dramatic, having learned that the Covenant are attacking Earth in order to get to a buried Forerunner artifact. The Master Chief races along the crumbling road towards the heart of the enemy forces, while above, Banshees fly towards their target. It's an Earth that's hard to recognize from the 21st century counterpart, and the scorched savanna and architecture twisted by the invasion's forces is every bit as alien as the ring world themselves. Tsavo Highway is so good. We have, all the debris laying around. Yet there's also all this bright, vibrant color. The sun is shining, the grass is golden, and it's such a good contrast. Whoever came up with the art style for this level deserves a raise. I wonder, are we going to go through each mission in Halo 3 here? Ooh, this is interesting. Let me read this quickly because I want to talk about all this. The artifact. Underneath the earth, near the town of Voi in Kenya, Africa, is a Forerunner technology that the Covenant is so desperate to get its hands on. The artifact is a portal to the Installation 00, otherwise known as the Ark, the gargantuan structure from which all the Halo rings can be activated at once. The artifact is an epic construction itself, and the placement of such a prime piece of Forerunner technology raises another link between the long extinct races and humanity. Basically saying, why would they bury a portal to the most important Forerunner piece of, or the most important Forerunner structure and easily the most powerful? Why would they bury that on Earth, especially under Africa, which is a massive continent? Sending their troops the artifact is an epic construction itself, and the placement of such a prime piece of Forerunner technology raises another link between the long extinct races of humanity, from Crow's Nest to the UNSC planned an assault on the artifact, sending their troops to an encounter that would take them beyond the stars. So this artwork and screenshots here are incredible. So let's start off here. So this is the landing pad in Crow's Nest. If you've played Halo 3, you know this location well. This is where Sergeant Johnson decides to dip out with his Marines. Here we have, again in Crow's Nest, some more pelicans. These ones seem to be a bit under repairs, and you can kind of tell by the walls and everything here that, this base is essentially hanging on by a thread. Here we have the control room, which is where we start in this mission, where Miranda Keyes essentially gives us our first objective to go secure the hangar so that the majority of the Marines and the wounded can escape. And then here we have the portal itself, the arc. So this is it kind of opening, and then with a little bit of light coming out of it, and then with this massive beacon shooting out of it. Here, I'm not really sure which city this is meant to be. Actually, does it say? Oh, it does say. Sorry, I'm stupid. The skies of New Alexandria are cursed with vapor trails of battling craft as the final hours of Reach draws ever near. So this is New Alexandria, and seeing it from this high up in its full splendor looks absolutely beautiful. But that beauty is quickly undone by the presence of the Covenant carrier. And not just one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my god. Yeah, the Covenant take glassing pretty seriously. And that, everybody, is the end of the Halo, the Art of Building Worlds book. The back of the book says a celebration of visual splendor from the Spartans to breathtaking vistas across alien worlds. Halo art is dramatic, exhilarating, and utterly awesome. Too true. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. I actually had more fun reading this than I did with the Bloodborne book. I'm not sure what book I'm going to cover next. I have a lot of very similar books, like books from Software games. I have a lot of large books that are going to be 4-part series. And I also have a lot of smaller books, which are going to be more akin to what we saw with the Nier art book, where, there may be 1 or 2 parts. Anyway, if you are watching this video while you are trying to relax or going to sleep, this is the end of the video. So I'll give you 5 seconds to turn the video off so that the ad does not disturb you. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.